Hey everyone, it's Stephanie with Glittaful. Today we're going to show you how to apply chunky glitter onto your tumbler. So I've actually spray painted my cup. I've sanded, I prepped my cup with this gold spray paint. And I am going to be using Reflection, which is a custom cut color shifting we call it our Shattered Glass collection. So I'm actually really excited about it. It's a color shifter. As you can see, like it transforms to like a whole bunch of things. It has greens, blues, golds, pinks. It's amazing. So I'm going to show you how to add on a chunky. So chunkies could be any different types of just bigger cuts of glitter, and they can be difficult to lay onto your cup. So I'm here to show you all how to do that. So your supplies. You're going to need your glitter of choice. I'm again using Reflection from our collection, which is Glittaful, and I'll have that website link at the description below. You're going to need gloves. I'm going to be using a silicone brush applicator, which is also available on our site. Your sand and prepped cup of choice, I'm going to be using a 30-ounce Ozark tumbler. I always have a piece of paper nearby to capture my glitter, anything that falls. I have whipped up a 5 ml total of epoxy so that I can lay my chunky on. Oh, and then the rest that you see is just my stirrer and my silicone mat. All right, so let's go ahead and get this cup attached to our turner. Okay, so like any method, you're gonna go ahead and set up your cup onto your turner. Whenever I'm doing the beginning layer just to add an adhesive for my glitter with epoxy, it's very little epoxy that you're gonna use. So this is why I've whipped up 5 ml, because I just want it to be enough for the chunky glitter to adhere to my cup. If you watched my other how to apply glitter using the epoxy method, any ultra fine glitter, you're going to use very little, like 2.5 ml, and that might be too much depending on your cup size. So with chunky glitter, it needs just a little bit more, and this is why I do 5 ml total. And I use my silicone brush to apply the epoxy. It just makes it easier. I save my gloves, so I don't have to keep buying new gloves. I just wipe off any excess that I have of epoxy with a napkin or a rag, and voila, I got to keep my gloves. So my silicone brush allows that to happen. And the cool thing about the silicone brush is you can just wipe off the epoxy once it's dry, like it literally peels off. Also why I use these mats as well, because any epoxy that falls on them will just will peel right off once it's dry. Now guys, if you're still watching this video, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel if you haven't done so already. We have a lot of tutorials coming up. We have some already in our channel that you guys can watch, but we will be uploading more. We also upload a lot of our glitter selection onto our channel, so you will be the first to know and see what the new collection will look like if you hit that notification bell. So when you are done applying your epoxy onto your cup, you want to go ahead and, however it is that you capture your glitter, I'm going to go ahead and put my paper down so that I can catch any glitter that falls and I can reuse. And you start to lay. Wow, guys, look at that. She's absolutely gorgeous. I don't speak much about bases, but guys, it is very important to choose the base that for your glitter, because it will give your glitter its life. Basically, it's going to fit to what that base is. Because this is a color shifter from our Shattered Glass collection, I just saw how perfect gold would be for the base of this, and I was like, I have to go for this. Like, I was so excited. You want to just keep adding till you feel like it's fully covered. And you're going to see I'm going to start patting my glitters down. With chunky glitter, it is extremely difficult to get these places covered. So you want to make sure that you're helping. And this is why we're patting down. It's allowing it to hold. And get the places where maybe it wasn't sticking all that well to hold down. Because you want this cup fully covered. And this is why, like, if you didn't want to do a gold base, and maybe you wanted it to be closer to the color, you can choose whatever color that is closest to your glitter, especially when it comes down to chunkies, because you're always going to have some spots that are a little bit open. So you want to make sure that you get a color that's closest to the base. Well, the base color as close to the color of your glitter. Making a mess here, okay, with that. And I'll just go ahead and do this. So now, here's what we're going to do. You want to, with your gloves, with your hands, pat gently down. You don't want to have any pieces of your chunky sticking up. Because if you do, once you lay your epoxy on there, the pieces of your chunkies are going to stick up. And it's just going to make it very difficult for you guys to lay your epoxy down, for it to be smooth. You're going to have to sand the bejesus out of the cup if you don't pat the chunkies down. And this is for any chunky. With the Shattered Glass collection, even more. You want to make sure that you're patting this down so that you don't have anything sticking up, that it feels like, you know, a jagged edge, because it will be sharp enough, and it will stick out like a sore thumb once you've epoxy over it. Okay. How awesome is that, guys? So this is how you lay down your chunky. Again, we've only used 5 ml total of our of epoxy just to adhere this down to. If you want to add more so that you can add more to it, it's cool. The only thing that I don't recommend that, only because if you add too much epoxy, then you're making it do its natural thing, which is to keep spinning and spinning and spinning. So you're not using it so much as an adhesive. So if you add more epoxy, what's going to happen is the chunkies are going to feel its need to move around the cup. That's not what we want. We want it to lay there. We don't want it to move. We want the epoxy to dry with the glitter on top of it and feeling like it has nothing to move for. So this is why we're using very little epoxy. We've laid the chunkies right on there. Your next step is to let this sit and dry. Let it spin for 3 to 4 hours. If you don't want it to dry, that's cool too. Because if you don't want it to spin, that's okay. You can put it on your drying rack as is. It will dry, it will not shift. Since I already have this spinning, I'm just going to leave it there. Let it sit there for 3 to 4 hours, and then you're golden to go ahead and put your first layer of epoxy over this. So guys, again, please give this video a thumbs up. Subscribe to our channel if you haven't done so already. Thank you so much for joining me. Stephanie from Glittaful. Y'all have a Glittaful day.